be announcing the winner of the Complete Studio package at the end of the month, and every one of you who entered will receive a scholarship to Sparkles, not to mention a very special place in my heart. And speaking of Creative Mojo, my guests today have it in spades. The creators of the Dancing in the Fire e-course, Eliza Tobin and Courtney Pierce, are here, and we're going to talk about the relationship of yoga and creativity, something that I know so many of you are interested in exploring. So enjoy this time with Courtney and Eliza. Hey Eliza, hey Courtney, welcome to Creative Living with Jamie.
Hi, how are you?
I am good, and I can already feel in you guys this gorgeous, playful, buoyant energy, so I just know we're going to have an awesome chat together today.
We're looking forward to it.
Why don't we start out with each of you telling us a little bit about who you are and about what your creative life looks like.
Perfect, I'll go. This is Eliza speaking, and I am an artist, and I'm also a yoga teacher. And in the last 2 years, I've actually been combining these two passions and creating work that's inspired by my yoga practice and working on a master's degree program where I actually studied the ways that yoga affects creativity. So that's what I've been really busy working on.
Oh my gosh, I so want to dive right into that. But Courtney, why don't you tell us about you first?
I'm Courtney. I'm from North Carolina, and I'm a yoga teacher and a graduate in health promotion. So when I graduated, I knew that I didn't want to work in a gym and I didn't want to work in a cubicle somewhere. So I decided to start my own business, which is Yoga Geek, basically. And I help small businesses and nonprofits who are in the healthcare field market themselves and promote their businesses. And then I also teach yoga on the side and lead workshops on yoga and creativity in the area.
So why don't you guys tell us too, what brings the two of you together?
This is a good question.
It was just kind of serendipitous, wasn't it, Eliza?
Yeah. We actually met online through our blogs. We've both been blogging for, I think, about the same amount of time. And it's the wonderful thing about the internet is you just get connected with people that have similar interests as you do. And that's sort of how we met. It was just, serendipitous, as Courtney said.
And one of my students actually was wearing one of Eliza's pieces at a workshop I was teaching. And I had known of Eliza, and so I ended up getting in contact with her and telling her that I'd met one of her fans. And it's just funny, you know?
I love that, and I love, we talk on the show all the time about the ways you can make creative connections. I love how you guys are, a model of, this is what can happen.
Yeah.
And tell us about what the two of you are doing together, because it's pretty special.
Well, I contacted Courtney a while back and asked her if she was interested in putting together a e-course where we combined our talents of art and yoga and did this thing together. And so that's what we've been working on. It's called Dancing in the Fire, and it's going to be a 30-day transformational experience online.
Yeah, 30 women and 30 days, and we're all going to come together and work through the outlets of yoga and art to help ignite the creative self together.
So as soon as you said Dancing in the Fire, you have me, right? I'm so with you. But I would love to hear from both of you what you see that relationship being between yoga and creativity, because I know a lot of listeners are plugged into both of these things. So how do they impact each other? How do they relate?
Eliza, you want to take that one, or?
Sure. This is Eliza. So for me, it's really actually been a kind of personal journey in discovering this connection. I started doing art first. I've been a painter for many years and studying art in college and before that as well. And it's always been something in my life that's just really helped me express myself and express who I am as an individual and who I am in the world. And it's helped me move through a lot of things in my life. And when I was in college, I also started doing yoga. And I remember having this experience where I was like lying in Shavasana, which is such a fantastic pose at the end of the class, and you worked really hard, and you're just lying there just soaking it all in. And I remember having this feeling of like, this feels so familiar. Like I feel really embraced. I feel really supported right here. And where have I experienced this before? And it was like, all of a sudden I realized, oh, this is just like my art making practice. This is the place that I get to sometimes when I'm painting or when I'm writing. And so for me, it was just a kind of like an aha moment of like, oh my gosh, these two practices are hand in hand. I mean, they go together so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, there's so many parallels between my yoga practice and my creative practice. And my creative practice, you know, it kind of flows or bleeds over into my work. So I just started to find that whenever I was really struggling for an idea on a project or something I was trying to work out in my head, if I went to the yoga mat and used that tool of just letting go and taking my attention to my breath and the body instead of trying to like strong arm my creative idea into being, that it would just come to me. And so that's one thing. And also, being a creative being means that you have to have strong conviction in what you're about to do. And I find that you also have to have that same inner strength on the mat as well when you're about to go into a pose. You better have conviction, especially if it's like headstand Eliza.
Oh, there's a headstand story.
Yeah, I went into, it was actually handstand yesterday at the wall, and when I kind of stayed up for a while, and my conviction, as Courtney said, started to wane. I was up there, but I was like, I gotta do this, and sort of was strong arming a little bit, and ended up kind of tweaking my neck a little bit. So you do have to be careful too.
Yeah.
Do you find that the same challenges show up for you in art making and in yoga practice?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Definitely. Because I know that when I first started practicing yoga, I suffered a lot from feeling insecure about, I want every pose to be perfect and I want to look good, and, you know, the whole looking over at someone else's mat syndrome. That was me. And the same thing in my creative business and my creative life. It's like I really suffered from wanting to do the best and also looking to everyone else to help guide me. But yoga helped me to realize that it's not about being perfect and it's not about what everyone else is doing. And it just, I don't know, it just helps my creativity blossom.
When you came back to what it was really about, how would you describe that? Like, what is it really about?
What is what really about?
When you said, you know, in the practice, you realize it's not about comparing. It's not about being perfect. What is it about? Yeah.
It's just about being with yourself and just cultivating your own sense of being and being still and letting go. It's the complete opposite of looking to other people or reaching outward. It's about turning inward, really.
And Eliza, have you found it too that the challenges on the mat and on the page or in the paint are the same?
Yeah, definitely. I find that in both practices, sometimes it's one of those things where I know that they're really good for me and that I need to go there to that place. But then there's sometimes where it's like, but I kind of just feel like zoning out right now, or I don't feel like interacting right now. And really what I'm coming to find is that both my yoga practice and my creativity it's like kind of like a relationship, that I have with these practices, and literally, really with the kind of spirit that's behind both of them that I'm actually connecting to through both practices. And I call her she, but she really, needs interaction. Like, she needs to be cared for. She needs to be taken out on dates, taken to the page, taken to the mat. And when I am able to do that, I definitely feel that connection so much greater than I do if I kind of don't connect. And the urge to not connect is strong sometimes. I mean, sometimes seems so much easier